Hello and welcome back to Are You Serious? I got to do a little catching up on the FB. I do. I got a couple videos I'm working on. One is FB related, one is not. But I figure I would just kind of catch up with you guys real quick for the time being. So it's a whole mess. I have listened to a few of these. She's desperately trying to find something that works to take off some weight. I'm just going to be straight up. I don't think she wants to lose weight. I don't think she has any interest in losing weight. I think this is all just a ploy, one of her ploys to maintain an audience and to draw in new viewers. One of the top grossing industries, at least in the United States, is weight loss, dieting, weight loss, all of that, right? And I'm sure in Canada too, and probably in other countries, it's pretty up there as well. So we've been doing these crazy mukbangs with all the junk food. She tried getting a cat. Like nothing's really elevating her channel onto the next level like she would like it to be, and probably what she needs it to be really income-wise. So she started doing these daily, like a meal plan service that delivers to her. And what I found was interesting in that is that she never named what these companies were. And to me, that's kind of missing out on an opportunity to potentially get a sponsorship to, if you say, oh, this food is great, I love it, if you really do, and maybe you stick with it, at the very least, you might get a good discount for yourself. And if they're seeing an uptick in sales, like, oh, I watched this YouTube channel and she's been eating your food. I mean, that could eventually get you a sponsorship. But she never once names any of these companies. So that's a little baffling. Now, me, I have used different meal plan companies, not necessarily for weight loss, but more for, weight loss is a nice side effect, of course. But for me, it was more just trying to get in more nutrition. And it was during the height of the pandemic, really at the very beginning. So they just sent us home to work, like, don't come back to the office. And, at the time I was an hourly employee, and, it was just so chaotic and no one knew what was happening. And it was, oh my God. I'm sure you guys remember, right? So for me, I was worried about the company that I was working for, that it wasn't going to be able to stay afloat. And it's fine. It's sold to another company, but it's fine. And so as an hourly employee, though, I would log off and then like take a little break, go outside with my dogs, but then come back on and not sign back in, but work until like 11 p.m. And I was doing that day after day because I felt like to me, I wasn't doing anything else anyway. And I do believe in work-life balance, and I do believe in getting compensated for what you're doing. Absolutely. 100%. This was such an extraordinary circumstance. I thought, well, yeah, I could log off at 5, 6, whatever, right? And then just like, I can't go anywhere. Everyone's quarantined. And what if the accounts that I'm responsible for, what if they don't do well and I lose my job, right? So I'm like, well, I don't mind putting in some hours unpaid if it means that, things can stay afloat. Like, we got to at least stabilize. And so I did that for quite a while. Now, I didn't have my team do that. I would never expect anyone to. I didn't really want anyone to even know that I was doing that. But, it was discovered. The CEO gave me a shout out, which was, that was kind of cool. But I don't know how he found out, but they probably just, logged into the system, if not even, if not punched in, but logged in and working. So anyway, this was a time in my life that, I was going grocery shopping once a week, and it was very, very stressful to go. I would try to go early in the morning on a weekday. And, it was just, you guys remember, it was so stressful. So even after grocery shopping, I'd come back in. I wore the same shoes every time I went grocery shopping. I would come in. I had a bottle of bleach at the door. I would spray the bottoms of my shoes, strip off all my clothes, put them directly into the washing machine, and start washing them. And then I would come in and get dressed. Well, sometimes I would just go straight to the shower, even take a shower, get dressed, and then put the food away. So, I take it very seriously still to this day. I don't, and it could be a controversial topic for some, but to me, whether, no matter how you think about it, people died. I know someone who died, and it wasn't worth it to me to take any single part of it casually if it meant that I could possibly lose my life. That was a digression. So anyway, so back to the food plan, right? So like I said, I was going grocery shopping once a week, and, I'd have to try to buy everything because I didn't want to go more than once a week. And, but it wasn't so much even the food. It was like working so much and, having meetings all day and then just taking a short break in the evening and back to work. And, like for my, I'd have to punch out for a lunch break. And that's the time that I would take a shower and get dressed. Because I tried to have my meetings in the afternoon so I could be like presentable, and on Zoom and stuff. And so I found that like I wasn't cooking, even though I was at home, I just took it very seriously. I wasn't, kind of working on the sofa. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I decided like, I think I should look into some of these meal like delivery services to see, like I didn't really find any that were all that affordable necessarily. Like, oh, this is less than I would spend making my own food. There was nothing like that. But I did try a couple of different ones. And just for reference, I can tell you about the ones that I tried. I'm trying to. The first one was Factor 75, or they just call it Factor. And it was excellent. Excellent. I found that like I went with like the lower carb. And by the way, I'm not, this is not a sponsor. I only have 2,000 subscribers on this channel. So not a sponsorship. But I found that like the low carb meals, they tended to be very high, because it's, if they're thinking keto is high in fat. So they were kind of calorically dense. They were kind of high calorie. They were delicious, but like I couldn't even, and like I have an appetite. Like I'm not, like I don't just pick at food. Like I can eat. And some of these meals I could only eat like half of, and I'd have to put back in the fridge. And I don't think it's because of the amount of food or the size. It was the fat content. It was very filling very quickly. So I didn't like that because I didn't want to feel heavy, like while I'm working, out of my mind, all day long. So, and of course they do have other different types of meal plans. It's not just the low carb, but it was also the most expensive. Now I actually have to look up what the other one was because I don't remember what the name of it was, but I tried another one. I still have one in the freezer actually. And it was better. It was better in terms of like calories and I felt like it was a little healthier. Snap Kitchen, that's what it's called, Snap. Like Snap, it's a Snap Kitchen. And I did the low carb on that one as well. Oh, looks like that's weird. I just entered my zip code to pull up the menu for this week and it says no, your area is not covered. So that's, I used to get food from them. Maybe not enough people in my area were ordering. That's kind of weird, though. I mean, they just shipped it. It's not like it was hand delivered, by a kitchen. You know what I mean? Anyway. Yeah, this stuff would come like in a lot of packaging to keep it cold, and like you would get advance notice, like it's going to arrive on this day. Try to be sure that you're home. But thankfully, these places were like environmentally aware. So some of the stuff, not only was it recyclable, the freezer packs, I think it was for Factor, the freezer packs that they put in there were like pretty good size bags, and they were filled with a liquid. Well, you pull it out, you look at it, you're like, all right, it was totally biodegradable. You could either flush it down the toilet, or believe it or not, you could use it as a plant fertilizer. It's like a gel, and you could like mix it up with water and like go outside and like fertilize your plants. I mean, so, because that's a concern when you have all this stuff delivered sometimes, the box it comes in, the cooler, the ice packs, all that stuff. So yeah, Factor and Snap Kitchen. I tried both of those. I still get things from Factor asking me to come back. We'll give you a discount, and you can choose your own meals and everything, like, because I have dietary restrictions, obviously, as a Muslima, and some things I just don't like. So I just think it would be nice to know which companies these came from. And, if you are in Kuwait watching Chantal's channel, you might say, oh, that looks good. I wonder where she got that. And you don't know. So seems like a wasted opportunity to me. So she does. And what I think, some people were like, oh, you have to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to portion control. You have to do this. You have to do that. I think for someone like Chantal, she needs at least to get established. She needs food put in front of her and being told, this is what you can eat. And that's it. Nothing else. For this meal, this is your meal. Because I think, she's always trying to game a system, not realizing that she's really gaming herself. So she, if she's told, oh yeah, go make a, I don't know, like grilled chicken, go pan fry some chicken and some vegetables. And she'll be like, oh yeah, well, one chicken breast doesn't really look like that much. Let me make it 2. And then she'll add olive oil to the vegetables and so on and so on. So I think that things like that are they're good for Chantal, because it really, she needs structure. She needs structure and she needs limitations. So aside from like, all the plastic packaging people were saying is like not good and it's expensive. Yes. But if she does that for like a month and gets established and gets to know like what actual portions are, she would, that could get her established, and then she could start to cook a little bit for herself and wean off of it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this at all. Nothing. All right. So then there were a couple of days of that, and then we went to Subway talking about Weight Watchers. So, that's when I said, oh, okay, well, she's clearly not serious about any of this. This is just for making videos. This is content. This is not about any kind of a change. Day 6, I feel great. Alhamdulillah, which means thanks God. A lasagna, cheesecake. Again, we don't know what company this is from. Looks like it might say there, maybe, but can't see it. And yeah, it would be good to know. And then everything goes crashing down with, I'm doing a 40-day water-only fast. So the main theme that I'm seeing here is that she can't stick to anything more than a day. Not for one day. And I think sometimes people get overwhelmed with the number of choices that are available. And I think you can be in analysis paralysis. Like, oh, there's this plan for this much that has this many calories, and there's this plan, but then I could also do this, or maybe I could do that, and just switching it up every day. Pick something and stick with it for a week. You don't like it, go to the next option. Do that for a week. Like the daily changing, I mean, it's just obviously not effective. And she never gets into a rhythm as far as like a weight loss. It's just content. So what I'm going to review today is the 40-day water fast. I do have some comments on that. And then the very next day we have I almost died. So the 40-day water fast for 4 hours almost killed her. So yeah, okay. And, I have been reading some comments, on this video where people are saying, her newer viewers are saying you're playing with our emotions. This isn't healthy. What are you doing? And she knows exactly what she's doing. She knows exactly. She never intended to fast for 40 days, period. Was never going to happen. All right, so let's get into 40 days water only. We are going to speed this way up because I'm sure most people have already seen this. We're going to go to 1.5.
I'm going to be doing a water fast. And I'm not really enthusiastic about talking, when I'm coming to you with this idea because I have done it before. Now, I have successfully completed 5 days. And on the 6th day, I was like, I can't. I was obsessing about food. I was just so hungry. And I didn't really break my fast the right way. I kind of just dived right back into unhealthy food. So I don't think, to me, that's an indication that I don't think that the 5 days was enough. So let me just start with why. So I will put in the description some videos from actual doctors who recommend fasting. Also some philosophers, modern day philosophers. There's also a lot in Islam, with Ramadan, they fast for most of the day, but this will be okay.
All right, so I did actually check out, at least I checked out one of the links in her description, and it was a podcast. It wasn't a health podcast. It was a podcast someone appeared on that talked about fasting. So I did not find that helpful. How water fasting can reverse aging and prevent disease.
Because we're addicted to eating in this lifestyle. We want to eat every 2-3 hours. And that's one of the biggest impediments that I find in teaching people how to fast.
Hi, everyone. Drew Prode here. Today on the podcast, we have Dr. Pradeep Jamnadas.
Yeah, so that's another podcast. I know a little bit about fasting. Aside from fasting in Islam, I do know a little bit about fasting. I know about autophagy, which she discusses a little bit in this video. So I have followed a couple of physicians, and I have a couple of books on it. So I expected to see those names because they are known, in United States. Well, she's not a U.S. citizen, so maybe that's my mistake. But I expected to see some respected physicians who discuss fasting, not just for weight loss, but for other reasons. And neither of those doctors are listed. So Dr. Berg is actually a chiropractor because his credentials are DC after his name, Dr. Eric Berg, B-E-R-G. And he talks about different health topics, but fasting is absolutely one of them. And he talks about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is something that Chantal has said that she has. So the other doctor, I have a couple of his books, is Jason Fung, F-U-N-G. And he talks about obesity and fasting primarily. And he has a ton of videos with millions of views on fasting. That's pretty much his topic. So I expected to see either Dr. Fung or Dr. Berg, and neither of those were included, which, doesn't have to be the physicians that I know, but I think that they are very credible on the topic. And she said something about philosophers, different philosophers about fasting. I don't think that Chantal is going to a religious retreat where she needs to cleanse herself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically for 40 days. I don't think that's her reason for fasting. So I don't know where the philosophy comes in. We're talking about medical science here. Medical science. And, she says here, please do not attempt a water fast without clearance from your doctor. It's like, okay, well, that's a nice disclaimer for your audience, but did she actually check with the doctor?
Days was enough. So let me just start with why. So I will put in the description some videos from actual doctors who recommend fasting. Also some philosophers, modern day philosophers. There's also a lot in Islam. With Ramadan, they fast for most of the day.
Who's they? She doesn't consider herself a Muslim. They fast during Ramadan.
Philosophers. There's also a lot in Islam. With Ramadan, they fast for most of the day. But this will be...
They fast for most of the day. And, according to Chantal, she fasted most of the day during the holy month of Ramadan as well, correct? So she's distancing herself from that. They fast. Okay, then why are you wearing what you're wearing if it's they?
Okay, here it goes. I'm going to be aiming for 40 days with only spring water. So, but let me get...
So she says that she had successfully completed 5 days in the past, and you guys will have to verify that for me. I know that she's done all kinds of crazy things. I don't know if she actually made it through 5 days. According to her, she had a 2-year relationship with Nader when it was actually a week. So I'm sure there's a little bit of exaggeration going on here.
To why. So fasting, I have been doing a lot of research off and on, watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of medical articles about the benefits of fasting, some of which include...
So if you are going to list sources in your description, I would recommend linking some of those clinical articles that you've read. That would be far more credible than a podcast you listen to. I'm sure those are helpful. But if you're actually, if you're saying check with your doctor, here's, this is a very serious topic. This is very serious. This isn't just like, I'm just going to eat salads for the next month. Like, okay, good luck. Like, all right, it's not going to hurt you. But, not everyone can do this. And just to, link a couple of podcasts in the description, when she says she's read medical clinical articles on fasting, that's what you should be linking.
But fasting combined with prayer is just obviously, potential for spiritual growth is amazing. Basically, fasting with only water allows your body to completely reset itself. So there's something called autophagy. So autophagy is when you don't feed your body food to digest, it starts eating all of the debris in your body. I guess they call it like zombie cells.
Yeah, so that's why the clinical articles aren't linked. She didn't read any. No one has debris in their body. Debris. So she also said she's just going to drink spring water. When you're fasting for an extended amount of time, your body needs electrolytes. Your body needs electrolytes. There are different ways to get them during a water-only fast, but you can't eliminate them. Your body's chemistry will try to counterbalance because it's not getting those electrolytes. So it will try to correct itself, and it won't be good. Won't be good. Potassium and sodium chloride are the main issues.
Cells, I don't know. I can't remember, but basically it starts eating like precancerous cells. It starts eating debris, just really dirty cells in your body that cause...
What's eating the dirty cells? This is the amount of research she has done. So if you're watching Chantal's video saying, oh, wow, yeah, I bet you could lose a lot of weight. I'm going to do it along with you, girl. This should be your biggest red flag. Autophagy is a process within your body that can happen as a result of fasting. It's not a debris eating monster that you swallow and eats up all the precancerous cells and debris in your body.
issues, and it replaces them with new ones. So now I just want to put a disclaimer. I've probably put a note before I start the video, but don't attempt what I'm doing unless you have clearance from your doctor. I don't have clearance from a doctor, but
But everyone else should. Everyone else should get clearance. So this should tell you, if you're a new viewer of Chantal, that she gives disclaimers for so that she can't be held liable for anything. If someone does what she's doing, she's going to say, no, you can't. You need to check with a doctor. But then we're not even 4 minutes in and she's saying, well, I didn't check with mine. I'm not going to a doctor. Now, this person has extensive health issues. This isn't a regular, healthy, average human being. This is not. Even as a regular, average human being, you should still check with your doctor. There could be stuff going on that you don't know about if you haven't had blood work done recently. She has actual health issues. If anyone should be checking with their doctor, it's her.
I know that I've done it before and I know I can do it again. And actually, I didn't have any adverse health effects. I only had good ones. Like, my skin became clear, my hair was like shinier, I had more energy.
So she doesn't understand basic biology. Not shocking. Fasting for 5 days is not going to make your hair shinier. Yeah. maybe your hair was shinier because you weren't using your hair as a napkin when you were eating fried chicken. Maybe that's why I just stayed cleaner longer. Probably, I'm thinking. So anything that's not right at the root of your hair is dead and has been dead for quite some time. If you have longer hair, it can be months. If you have really long hair, it can be years. So that hair has already grown, has already gone through its process. It is what it is at that point. New growth coming out, that's one thing. But 5 days, no.
I felt lighter because I did lose, I think 20 pounds? I don't remember, but I have some old videos doing the water fast. I don't know if I privated them or not, but they were pre-hijabi, so probably.
I'm just finding her extremely annoying. Pre-hijabi. So hijabi is a term that has been used to describe women who wear hijab. I've seen it online for many years. I used the term once thinking it was okay because I have seen it online so much, and I was told that it can be offensive to some women and it's better if I just not say it. Now, for me, I don't take offense to it, but some women certainly do. But you can tell by the way she's using it in this context that she doesn't understand even what it means. When she was pre-hijabi, you mean before you were wearing hijab? Because a hijabi is a woman wearing hijab.
What else? I know I still have pre-hijabi videos out there that will be forever on the internet. So, but still, what else? So that's, autophagy is one of the main benefits. I have a lot of illnesses. I have a lot of inflammation in my body, in my back, in my joints and things. I can feel it. A lot of swelling, inflammation, a lot of, acne, coming up more, hormonal imbalance. I plan to rectify or try to rectify the hormonal balances, which gives me hair loss and things like that. So I hope to...
This woman had a total hysterectomy years ago. So hormonal imbalances are not going to be regulated by anything but hormones. She doesn't have ovaries. There's no estrogen, progesterone production happening at all. Impossible for her body to make that. Impossible. So her just not eating isn't going to regrow her ovaries and start producing estrogen. This person is beyond ignorant when it comes to health, regardless of what she says she does for research. Clearly not at all.
Correct a lot of things, health issues, maybe breathing issues, weight. I expect to lose quite a bit amount of weight. Now I do expect to put on maybe half of that back when I start eating, but I also want to eradicate my addiction to unhealthy food, and I think that the 5 days wasn't enough to do.
Eradication of addiction isn't done solely by abstaining from your substance of use. That's not what cures addiction. It can get it out of your system, but unlike drugs and alcohol, you do have to eat. Eventually, you do have to eat. And simply not eating for any period of time doesn't cure addiction. She said herself, she has a food addiction. She needs therapy. I believe that she knows what is at the core of her issues. I think she knows. I do believe she knows. And I feel that that's why she's so resistant to therapy, because she doesn't want to handle it. She doesn't want to deal with it. She's not living in the here and now, in the present. She's not. She doesn't even... I'll bet she catches a glimpse of her body at times and is absolutely, completely shocked. Like, how did this happen? How did this happen? Because I don't think she's really present most of the time.
Do that. I had to get past that obsession with food and reset my entire body, because even eating things in moderation that are hyper palatable in sugar, it's called a pleasure trap. And I'll link the video down below. There's a doctor who talks about that.
So I didn't see any video linked about a pleasure trap. Maybe it's in one of the podcasts.
Basically, if you keep feeding your body a lot of hyperpalatable foods that are rich in fats, sugar, salt, it's just going to want to crave that, and you're just perpetuating the addiction to food. So I think to fully reset my palate, my body, everything, just completely reset my system from the inside out. I want more mental clarity. I heard that you gain more mental clarity after pushing through maybe the first week. It's different for everybody. There are medical signs I've researched into look for of when I should break the fast. So if it becomes medically dangerous for me, I will stop. But I'm just planning on doing this on.
And how would she possibly know when it becomes medically dangerous for her? She's in a medically dangerous state right now and has been for quite some time. Medically dangerous. Just because you don't go to the doctor and get a progress report on how your health is progressing or failing doesn't mean that it's not happening. So how would she possibly know that she's having health issues from fasting and that they're not just normal symptoms of fasting? She doesn't know anything about what she's talking about, period. She just wants to drop a ton of weight all at once. And sorry, unless you're getting weight loss surgery, that will not be happening.
On my own, and with you guys, of course, whoever's left to support me, because I know that it just seems like another irrational, erratic, crazy, impulsive idea. But, like I said, I've done the 5 days before. I really believe in fasting, the power of fasting. It's just I never had the willpower to do it. I just never could do it. I don't think that eating food, like, who am I kidding? I'm kidding myself. Like cheesecake in moderation, lasagna in moderation. I don't think that's realistic, as I thought, in a way, when it comes to health, when it comes to resetting my palate, getting rid of those urges to eat those bad foods.
She doesn't need to reset her palate. She needs to deal with her issues. It's not about, oh, I have a craving for this. That is not her problem. Cravings are not the issue. Dealing with emotional issues and handling life stress by swallowing food in mass quantities every single day is the issue. Using that as a coping mechanism is the issue. It's not about, oh, I shouldn't be eating lasagna and cheesecake. She could be, if she was on a broccoli only diet, obviously that would never happen. Obviously no one should do that. But she would just eat 20 pounds of broccoli just to get that filled feeling, That's like, palatability is not her problem.
Because after I ate the cheesecake and lasagna last night, and I hate to admit this because I know I'm going to get so much hate for it, but I'm just really ignoring it and just doing me. But at the same time, I can just guess what people are going to say, and I really overate last night so bad. And, I just haven't been doing well. So,
and if she's actually done any research whatsoever about fasting, especially doing a long fast, well, first of all, if she was even successful at doing a 5-day fast, the next step would be maybe 7 days. why you would multiply that first successful amount by 8, 8 times that, and just try to do it on a whim. That's crazy enough. But if she has done any research at all on fasting, the autophagy, how to prepare for a fast, how to get through the fast, she would know that starting a fast. So she ate her delivery meal and she binged because it wasn't enough food for her. She said she ate a ton of food. That's not how you go into a fast. For several days beforehand, you're limiting foods. You're eating very, very clean. For several days beforehand, less and less. Ideally, you're already in ketosis when you do start to fast, so that it doesn't hit you because you're going to feel terrible. You're going to feel terrible. So if you're already in ketosis and then you begin water fasting, it's just a transition. It's not going to hit you like a brick wall. So she binged last night and now she's doing a 40-day water fast. If that doesn't, that's the biggest extreme that you could possibly go to. Like I just said, try eating salads for a week. Can you do that? Cheesecake, lasagna, and she probably had cheese puffs. God only knows what, God only knows what. My goodness. So she feels bloated today because she binged last night. Okay. A 40-day water fast is not the answer. I would have predicted that this would have lasted maybe 4 hours total.
But now with the water fast, I have a new hope. I've been listening to testimonies of people who've done it, been listening to doctors who believe in it and the benefits of it, and it keeps me going. And honestly, I already this is day 1, by the way, June 17th, I think until July 26th. I think that will be 40 days. And I want to go on this trip. I want to live life. I want to reset everything. And I think this is the only way that I'm going to do it. So I'm going to let the proof be in my videos. I'm going to vlog every day, my progress. I'm going to weigh in every day. I'm actually ashamed of my weigh-in today, so I will insert that. Actually, I'll put that up here somewhere. 169 kilos, man. That's bad. So I've just been 169 kilos, man. That's bad.
Okay, 169.1 kilos. Times 2.2 is 372.02, 372 pounds. And a few days ago, she was 366 pounds. So that's a 6-pound weight gain in just a couple of days.
So I've just been extra sedentary, since I hurt my back. I've been using that as an excuse to not really even do anything. And I've just been feeling down about, oh my gosh, I'm starting a diet cycle again. And I just don't have any belief in myself. And I've just been not in a good place. But today I'm hopeful. I'm not hungry at all. I thought I would be starving. In the moments, sometimes I feel a bit nauseous and I just kind of lay down for a few minutes and it passes. It passes fairly quickly. I had maybe so far just a liter of water today. I'm not going to over drink because it can be dangerous to just sit and chug all kinds of water. So I'm going to let my body metabolize the water I put inside.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, you can die from that, actually. Water intoxication. Yeah, because it flushes out all of your electrolytes that you need. Yeah.
Before I drink too much. But the idea is also that, your body will become fat adapted. So I have, look at me, I'm 169 kilos. So I have so much excess weight. I have about, I could weigh maybe 120 pounds. So I have over 200 pounds, 250 pounds of excess weight that my body can munch on, that my body can metabolize. The fat stores are there for a reason, right? That for survival when you have no food. Well, if I keep feeding my body food, my liver will just keep storing glycogen. It will never deplete the resources in my liver. That's another thing. I have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease that I want to completely just get rid of. And I think that fasting, number 1, will be beneficial for that. 100%. I believe that. So I just really, really want to, well, inshallah, everything I do right now, inshallah. But I think that,
everything you do, period, is inshallah, not just right now, Chantal. But this is a disconnect that I see with her.
I think, it sounds unrealistic. I know people have already told in my real life are rolling their eyes. This is not the way to go. Just eat vegetables, eat meats. But I feel like I need a system reset because I'm just too addicted to food at this point. And I think that this is a very, it's like a new start, a fresh start. I've never refreshed my body and fully given it a break from eating. And I think that there's going to be a lot to learn in this. And how.
Well, she just said that she gave it a break from eating for 5 days during another period. So, you know, which is it? So she mentions glycogen in the liver. Now, I'm not a medical professional, so there will be channels who are going to just shoot off at the mouth with all kinds of information that is completely false, half true, or, but they will say it very authoritatively as if they've studied it for years, by the way. That's not this channel. I don't do that. I will tell you what I know. But I'll always give you that caveat. Like, I'm not a medical professional. I do know a lot about glycogen in the liver and how you deplete it. And it doesn't have to be just from fasting. Once you deplete all the glycogen in your liver, where your body's not using that, that's when you enter a state of ketosis. And that can be attained by going on a ketogenic diet. As few carbs as possible, under 20 grams of carbohydrates will deplete your glycogen stores. You don't have to stop eating for a month. It's very extreme and incorrect.
You know, it's also going to teach me self-discipline and persistence and willpower. I'm going to be exercising my willpower as well. So I really want to do this. I hope that you guys will be on board with me. I'm not encouraging you to do it unless you think that medically it's really safe for you. But this is just my own personal journey. You know, I have a lot when I'm not going to be worrying about eating all day long. I'm going to have so much time on my hands to try to improve things, keep my home very clean.
So since she fasted during the holy month of Ramadan, she would already be familiar with this. And I would think would be referencing back to that time period. Like when I was fasting during Ramadan, I had like all this spare time, like, because I wasn't cooking, I wasn't thinking about eating, you know, I just couldn't eat. So instead I did this and I did that and I thought about that. She's not referencing a previous time period. She's saying she has never experienced this before.
I'll be lighter at some point so I can go out and do more things, you know. I'm going to be focusing on that, thinking of the rewards, how I'm going to feel. Like eventually, if I, stick to the fasting and the healthy eating for like a year, I can go and buy like a whole new wardrobe. I can fit into clothes, normal size clothes. I won't have to worry about going to special abaya shops or getting custom.
For Chantal, she is far too impulsive to be thinking about a benefit that will come a year from now. That's not going to get her through the day-to-day, even just on a regular healthy diet plan. That's not going to get her through. Like, oh, by this time next year, I'm going to be able to shop at a regular store. You know, you got to, she just doesn't know the basics of really anything. You've got to make short-term goals. Short-term goals. Like for today, I don't want my carbohydrate intake to exceed a certain amount. For today, I'm not going to eat any sugar. And by the way, fructose is one of the worst that refills your glycogen store. So all this fruit she's been eating, and she's just working against herself. She thinks she knows what she's talking about, but her behavior shows something entirely different. For today, I'm going to go for a walk around the block. A long-term goal can be losing 5 pounds. I'm talking about where she is right now. If you're experienced with dieting, if you're experienced with exercising and experienced with dropping weight, you can set greater goals than that. You can have a dress that you want to get into by a certain date. That's the type of goal that I think regular people who diet, who have gained a couple pounds and need to take a couple pounds off, I think that's like, that's like a motivating goal because you can keep trying on the dress and see how you're doing, and adjust from there. But for her to look a year into the future, she may not even be alive in a year at this point. And, where I mean, she wore skin tight dresses in Canada that were plus size. So there is clothing available for her. Maybe not in Kuwait, but it is. And she'll find it when she needs to.
Made of bias, which was at the point I'm at right now, you know. So I want, that's clothes, you know, normal size clothes. I don't have to worry about going to special abaya shops or getting custom made abayas, which was at the point I'm at right now, you know. So I want, that's one of the major things I keep in the back of my mind. I want to buy normal size clothes. Like, I really, really want to. I want to like just wear normal clothes. Like, I want to be able to wear, you know, pants and a shirt. Like, I don't have to wear abayas, but I do because of my weight. You know, I have to cover my body.
So we're actually getting some honesty for the first time in, I don't even remember since when. That's right. She doesn't have to wear abayas. And she has convinced some of her audience that she does, because she's a very conservative, pious Muslim that needs to wear abayas on top of her clothes, even while sitting in her house. That's what she has convinced these people. I've seen it in her comments, where some people are genuinely asking, like, can't you wear something a little lightweight, a little more lightweight? Those abayas look very heavy. You know, do you have to wear those? And she straight up says yes. And I've seen people defend her, calling those people Islamophobic because they're suggesting that she wear something a little more comfortable. I mean, my God. But that's what she's been saying. Oh, no, it's not about my body. No, I, as a Muslim in Kuwait, have to wear this. When that's just not the case. It's just not the case at all. So it's nice to hear, finally, that she doesn't actually have to wear abayas. She doesn't. I have never worn an abaya. I have one in case I need one, if I'm going to a mosque that, you know, for whatever. You know, I have one on hand, but I've never worn one. There's nothing wrong with wearing one, but where she's sitting in her home, absolutely sweating, covered completely in black with, you know, I mean, the heaviest fabric available. And she's telling people this is part of her religion. I mean, you know, come on. Come on.
And the abaya is the biggest thing. So,
yeah, she can't wear pants and a shirt like Salah has been suggesting, you know, just wear jeans and a shirt. That's what a lot of Muslim women wear. Jeans, shirt, hijab, you know. You can be fully covered and not wear an abaya.
I want to do this. I really, really do. And I know I'll feel really good if I do succeed in doing it. I know I'll get rid of a lot of the inflammation in my body. I don't know how much weight I'll lose. I'm not really focusing just on the weight loss because it's not sustainable when you're fasting. When you eat, you're going to put it back. But the refeeding stage is a whole other thing I'm not even thinking about right now. I'm just going to have to... Sorry. That's going to be another thing. How I'm going to refeed myself. I won't be able to put any of that crap that my brain is addicted to back in my body. So, because then it will just recycle. I'll just be in another cycle again, you know? So, I don't think that I'll really have to. I'm hoping that I won't even crave those foods at the end of this. I'll just start craving, once I refeed my body healthy food, that's what I'll want. And everything else will just seem too salty and sugary and blah, blah, blah. So,
the problem is in the brain. It's in the brain. It's not about your taste buds. It's the brain. Certain foods can elicit certain responses in the brain. Chocolate, dopamine. You don't get a dopamine hit eating a grilled chicken breast. So she thinks just by eliminating these foods that's just, come on. You know, she just doesn't have basic knowledge.
We are what we eat. That's, you know, it's a famous quote for a reason. So that's my reasoning behind it. There's a lot of, you know, benefits to fasting if you just take the time to research it. And, you know, if you don't believe in that, and if you don't believe in me doing this, I don't blame you. You know, I fully expect to be criticized highly for this. I don't think that anyone will believe in me. And, you know, I just have to believe in myself. That's all, you know. So, there won't be any mukbangs for a while. When I start eating again, I will do a lot of cooking and meal prep videos because I have to get into the habit of that. So while I'm fasting, I can also, you know, near the end, maybe, I don't even want to look or think about food while I am, you know, doing this. I will save a lot of money on food because
when you're fasting, sometimes that's the only thing that you can think about is food. And you have to develop strategies to not succumb to those thoughts. So just saying you don't want to think about food while you're fasting, okay, that's wishful thinking.
I do eat a lot of food, obviously to be my weight. With only salat eating, the water's super cheap here. So I'm going to be having water only, and I'm going to be having spring water, because a lot of people who do fasts think that they have to have electrolytes. Now, a lot of those people drink distilled water or like completely filtered water, and I'm not going to be drinking that. I'm going to be drinking natural spring water, which already has natural electrolytes and minerals in it. There's already natural sodiums and things like that in spring water. So I didn't have to do that last time. I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to drink spring water only. No coffee, no tea, nothing like that.
If you could point me, Chantal, to the medical article that you read that indicates that, I would love to see it. Because that's some very dangerous information you're putting out there. You should cite your source.
That. So when I refeed, I'll probably have to start with like bone broth or something, some kind of broth. I don't know, but I don't have to worry about that for a while. Now
bone broth with noodles and chunks of beef and carrots and potatoes, and you're already thinking about it.
3 days seems pretty bad. It's pretty strict. So if I don't make it the whole way, well, I'm going to try. But I can't promise that I'll make it 40 days. Who knows? That's a long time from now. But if I could complete that, I know I can do anything. Then I can, I'll still have a bit of time to worry about the trip and planning the trip, and it'll be such a good reward. It'll be amazing. It'll be amazing content because, another country with my love, and it'll just be awesome vlogs. It's what I've always wanted to do. I've always said, I want to do travel vlogs with the love of my life. And so I want to make that happen. But, yeah, the pets will be taken care of. Don't worry about that. But we're not going to go for a super long time because of the pets. We're going to miss them. So, I can't stop yawning. Oh my gosh. I actually need some water now. Yeah, I like this program because it just covers my entire body. So when women pray in Islam, we are to cover everything except the face and hands. So.
And of course, I have seen some comments from people saying this looks like a bed sheet or curtains or whatever. And, it's something that I really haven't commented on too much. However, it is starting to bother me. And I've actually seen, there was a woman from Kuwait that I've been chatting with online who has basically said the same thing that I've been thinking. People are so eager to ding her on things, not realizing that they are putting out false information about the religion. This Kuwaiti woman was saying about my country. People are wrong about a lot of things about my country, just because they want to try to catch her in some kind of trap that doesn't even exist. Most prayer gowns look like this. Little flowers, they do, because you roll out of bed for your sunrise prayer and you do wudu to clean yourself, and you toss this on. You have to be fully covered. You don't have to be fully covered when you're sleeping, but when you're praying, you do. So this is very common. So people making fun of it, it's make fun of Chantal, sure. But do you know how many Muslim women in the world wear something exactly like this?
I don't really know what else to say. If you have any questions for me, I guess I can try to answer some. I will leave some resources in the description. So if you're interested in researching on your own about the benefits of water fasting, then definitely check that out. I expect to be sluggish and low energy as my body's adapting to different way of metabolizing and just functioning without food. It's going to be what the heck? 39 years of just straight feeding constantly all day, every day. I get depressed about that when I think about it because of the abuse I've done to my body. I put it through a lot that I'm even surprised sometimes that I'm even still here, walking around.
Yeah, we're all surprised at that. So yeah, she's put some resources in the description below, some very credible resources. The Rich Roll podcast, insane benefits of water-only fasting. Okay. Reverse aging and prevent disease. It's kind of clickbaity, and their podcasts. If you take her seriously, honestly, that's your fault.
Barely, but still. So this will be a whole new life for me. This will be so beneficial in so many ways. So I'm not sure live streams how many I'm gonna have the energy to do while I'm doing this, at least at first. So I will probably just be putting out some vlogs and talking videos, like, you know, water fast diaries, probably what it's going to be called, because I'm just trying to get through it, man, you know, I'm just trying to get through it. So anywho, what else about this? Yeah, so I started today. It's nighttime now. It's like, well, evening, early enough evening. So I'm going to finish out the day, the evening, the night, and if you've been on a water fast yourself, you can share your experience in the comments. I'm kind of tired. I don't expect people to be on board right away, because I think that I'll need to do it for at least a few days for people to be like, okay, she's taking it seriously, you know?
I might take her half seriously if she gave out any credible information or cited any credible sources or sounded remotely like she sounded like she was talking, like she knew what she was talking about, but she doesn't. So how can you take it seriously? You've got this little monster called autophagy that you're going to swallow, and for 40 days it's going to go around and eat precancerous cells and debris in your body. Yay. Okay.
But for actual hunger, I'm not. I haven't had weak moments yet, mashallah. But if I do, I suspect it won't be like from actual hunger for a while. I think it'll be just more psychologically missing food, like a psychological thing, like the addiction part. Like, oh my gosh, you know, that cycle, those signals to the brain that are like eat, and just habits of like watching movies and eating and blah blah blah. So I have to like try other things. I'm gonna try reading more of the Quran, just listening to more stories about success stories from weight loss and stuff like that. So all right, I'm gonna fall asleep, I think. I feel really relaxed. So if I wake up and I've successfully completed one day, I'll be so elated, I'll be so happy, and I can't wait to report to you what happens tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. We're just gonna take it day by day. I'll share with you the different symptoms and everything like that, what I'm going through, and I'll weigh in like every day. I suspect that the water weight will come off very quickly, you know. So yeah, so your body, like I was saying, fat adapted, it will start eating the fat stores. So I cannot wait. Eat away, body, eat away. So I think I almost passed away last night. Listen, I came to a harsh realization, okay? When I did my 5-day water fast, that was like, what, 5 to 6 years ago? My body's changed. My body has completely changed since then. I don't think it can handle a 40-day water fast. I don't know what's wrong with me. I really don't. I don't know, like, if I have a personality disorder. I'm being honest, like, I don't know what my problem is. So that was very, when I think back to yesterday, like, what was I thinking? I really don't know. What was I thinking to just like go on and announce that I'm going to do a 40-day fast? I really, really, really just have the weirdest ideas.
So,
sorry, I water fasted most of the day, and it, you know, it was pretty easy for most of the day. I wasn't that hungry. And I'm starting to feel really like dissociated from reality. Not just dizzy, but like actually dissociated from reality. Like every time you get nauseous and dizzy, because I was expecting to feel uncomfortable and a little sick, right? As you're detoxing and not eating and going through changes. Well, so I told myself I'll lay down. I lay down. The weird feeling did go away. But then like I was like kind of thirsty, and I thought I didn't like have so much water, but for some reason I was getting sick of water. Like the thought of drinking more water on an empty stomach was making me feel ill, like nauseous. So I was like, well, I'm gonna be drinking water for 40 days, so get used to it, kind of thing. So I sat up, drank some water, and my body was like, instantly, like it was like a reflex in my gut. I just like, this is the gross part, I gagged and I just like got sick everywhere in the bathroom. I sort of felt like a pain in my chest, and I started getting my heart, I felt my heart racing, and that weird feeling of like dissociation came back, and I had white dots in front of my eyes this time. That's where I thought I was gonna die. I'm like, am I having a heart attack? Did I put my body through shock? Like what? I laid down after that, and after I started feeling, you know, better, I was like, I have to use something. A mixture of like, sometimes I just need people to bring me back down to reality, you know, and Salatu was like, I was wrong, and I think for sure I saw another like smart comment that was like, how about you try even just not eating?
how about just try dieting like successfully for even a day?